Hey guys, this is Angela, and today we're going to be making this beautiful white horse statue. And believe it or not, it cost me a fraction of what you would pay for this in a retail store. And I found this ad online at a store, and it cost 250 bucks for this horse. And of course, it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty darn similar. So, this is the horse that I purchased. This came from Tuesday Morning in a box like this, and it cost $19.99. Then I also needed a wooden pedestal. I got this from Hobby Lobby for $2.99. This is the horse on the pedestal, and unfortunately I did not like the oval pedestal, so I had to purchase another for another $2.99. But for both of these I used my 40% off coupon at Hobby Lobby. Now I'm spray painting this, and I always say that it's best to use thin layers of spray paint and build up on them. So that's what you see me doing here, and also using long strokes. Now if you do too much at a time, you will have imperfections, and I had a few, but I'll show you what I did to resolve that later. So as you can see here, here's that imperfection that I was telling you about, and I basically took some sandpaper and sanded it down, making sure it was 120 grit. So I don't like that pedestal, and this is the one I chose to get, or it's a pack of two. So I'm going to remove this pedestal and kind of set my horse up on that one. It looks a lot better, even though it's not ready yet, but I like the narrowness of the rectangle pedestal. And again, you get the two wood pedestals in a pack. So I put the wood side by side and mark off, kind of measure the length of the horse, and then mark off where I would need to cut. Now to my table saw, I cut off the pieces right at that line that I marked. And with wood glue, I got the Gorilla brand. I go ahead and put it on the wood pieces and mend them together as you see here. And then I clamp it in place and let this sit for about an hour and a half. So once it's dry, I take it back out, and I have to get rid of all of these rough edges. So I do that by using sandpaper. Now I start off with an 80 grit sandpaper, and that's going to get rid of any lifted wood as well as all of that glue that you see there. I also go ahead and do the sides of this. I don't worry about the bottom because you're not going to see it, and I just didn't want to do the bottom. So I follow this with 120 grit sandpaper, and that's going to smooth everything out. This is like a finishing paper. I like to basically run this across the entire block of wood just to smooth everything out. Once I'm done with that, I wipe it down with a damp paper towel just to get rid of all of the dust. Now I have to fill in those seams, and I use wood filler to do so. I always have the hardest time getting wood filler out. I don't know why. But once I get all of that filled in, I set it aside to dry for probably about a half hour, 45 minutes, not long. Once it's dry, I come back with my 80 grit sandpaper to smooth it out again, get all of those rough edges smoothed out. And then I follow it with my 120 grit to smooth out the board. Alright, and then I wipe it down again, get all of that dust and grit off, and get it ready for painting. So I got my table ready for painting, but before I do that, I have to put my horse on my board. Yeah, and that fits perfectly. I love how narrow that is, and the length is perfect. And I decided to go ahead and put the horse on there diagonally. I thought it added just a bit more drama. So before I glue it down, I marked a line around the hooves of the horse just to kind of make sure I put it back in place once I glue it. With my E6000 glue, I added to the bottom of the horse where it's going to be glued, and place it right back on those lines. Once I get it on there, I go ahead and push it down just a bit so that it can adhere. And then I spray paint. Now I'm focusing my spray paint on the bottom of on the base, on the pedestal, just because it has to catch up to the horse. The horse was already painted and this wasn't. I do a couple coats down there, and then I start on the horse and I do a couple more coats on both of them together. And this is what we have. It is the finished horse. It has not dried yet, so I'm going to take it inside and let it dry for 1 or 2 days. So this is the finished horse, and I named it Valentine. This horse was so fun to make, really simple and really inexpensive. I truly hope you guys enjoy. And until next time, take care.